get into the next topic because it's the start of preseason this week. The Ravens play Thursday night. We're going to be going live right before. We're going to be going live right after. But preseason's one of the most interesting times of the year as a football fan because we're trying to figure. It's probably also one of the most interesting times as a general manager and as a coach because everybody's trying to figure out who's making the roster. And there's so many positional battles. There's so many draft picks, so many undrafted free agents, so many free agents, so many veterans that are battling for a spot. There's just so much to look out for. So let's talk about, we're going to split this in half. We'll start off talking about offense. Tomorrow's video, or if you're listening on the podcast, the next segment, we'll be talking about the defense. Offensively, in the preseason, they don't have to be playing this week. That's not required. But who's the guy, your number one guy that you want to watch play?
Number one. I gotta think about this one. Number one. It's really between Tyler Beatty and the Gorilla. I love my running backs, but right now I'm gonna go with my Gorilla. We've been hearing about him. I keep on saying it. We've been hearing about him since he got drafted and came into Owens Mills facility and rookie minicamp, and how he's just been able to, make himself a target, and how he's been able to contort his body, make himself available. And recently I heard that he picks at Mark Andrews' brain. He talks about how he loves to be in the film room and study. He talks to Mark Andrews. How do you know what the coverage is going to be before the ball is snapped? How do you know how to sit in those soft spots and stuff like that? And I mean, it's just crazy to have another tight end that's thinking on that type of wavelength that might could be seeing just as much play time as the starting tight end. And like I said before, to have two guys on the opposite side from each other, if we got to go, two tight end set, to be able to make more creativity with Gregory Roman's offense, then by all means, so be it. But I definitely love to see what he's going to do, what he's going to bring to the table, because he's even been getting praised by Lamar Jackson. And when when the franchise quarterback, sees a new toy, he's going to make sure sometimes, he's going to put the word in their ear to make sure this guy makes the team. So, I love to see what he's going to do against that Tennessee Titans defense. I love how he's going to, really make a name for himself in this NFL. And I'm definitely looking forward to, what he brings Thursday night.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Likely is probably at the top of my list as well, because we've heard so much, and we're probably not going to see Mark Andrews. I'm pretty sure he's already ruled out.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see him in that number one role. Charlie Kohler is injured right now, so he can't play. We're going to see Isaiah Likely. And he's probably going to be the featured player. For me, he may play the whole first half, especially of this first game. They're going to play him a lot to really see what they have. Yeah. The wide receivers, there's a lot of guys to shuffle through. So, you play the starters maybe the first quarter, then you shift it. Okay, here's the backups, right? And you kind of go quarter by quarter. Tight end, there's not a lot of guys competing. There's a lot of really back end players, but they got to see what they have.
Yeah.
They drafted him in I believe the fourth round. It could have been their fifth round pick, but I think it was the fourth round. And they drafted two tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
They need to see what he can do because they've seen what he can do in practice. And every day, it sounds like he did great. So he's definitely the guy kind of at the top of my list. My other guy is an offensive player, actually, that I wasn't expecting to be I really want to see this guy play in preseason, because it's not a player that I would normally think about as a preseason guy that, I really got to see what this guy can do.
Yeah.
But for me, I have to go with another pass catcher. I thought about Tyler Beatty. I do really want to watch him because I love watching the rookies. But I think I got to go with Mr.
Jalen?
No, I'm going to go with Mr. Shamar Bridges.
You know what? He was going between Isaiah, Jalen, and Shamar. Those are my top three right now.
Yeah.
Those are my top
because three. He's the wild card.
Yeah.
He's the guy, I think, with the highest ceiling of any of these guys battling for the back end roster spot, because he's a deep threat. He's big. He's physical. He's got good hands, but he's coming out of a small school. There's not a lot known about him, so we're gonna have to find out. And he may not like. Don't judge Shamar Bridges off of the stats because he's going to be playing with poor quarterback play.
Yeah.
He's a deep threat. So if we can just recognize, hey, he was open, hey, he beat his man, he may not get the pass. You know, we've seen Tyler Huntley throw the deep ball. I like Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley is not a guy that you want to hit big plays with because for some reason this dude cannot hit the long ball. He's hit it a couple of times. Yeah. Maybe it was just a Hollywood thing, but this dude struggles with throwing the deep ball. We'll see what Brown is able to do. We'll see what backup Huntley is able to do. But Shamar Bridges is someone that I really want to see because we don't know. Like, I feel like I kind of know what we're getting with Mekhi Polk. And Mekhi Polk is my favorite undrafted player the Ravens brought in this year on the offensive side of the ball. But, like, I kind of know what we're getting.
Yeah.
You know, he played in the SEC. He also played in the Pac-12. Like, he's been around. He's played really difficult competition, and he's performed against tough competition. Shamar Bridges, like, he's tough to find highlights on. He's tough to find tape. You can't really go by the stats. You got to go with, what you hear in training camp and practice. It sounds like it's great things, but we don't know till we see it on the field. And he's the guy at the wide receiver spot that I want to see the most. Because I feel like I still know what Prochet will bring me and Tylen will bring me, even though they could wow me and go above and beyond. But, like, I kind of know what we're getting with them. Shamar is the ultimate question mark, I think, on this offense. What do you think about Shamar Bridges, Joshua?
I'm actually looking up the stats right now. From when he was at Fort Valley State, 2019, 51 receptions, 765 yards, 4 touchdowns. I'm just, that's good numbers. That was in 2019. I'm just trying to see, if he progressed or digressed.
Well, then COVID hit, and then it's like, okay, yeah. Like, there's a lot of teams. I don't know how much Fort Valley State played during that. They may not have played at all, or they may have had a 4-game season. Like, it's just really tough to gauge. It was in a really tough time to be a college football player trying to get scouted.
Yeah, 2020, they played 2 teams back to literally. They played one team 4 times and another team 2 times. And like you said, it really wasn't a lot. Like, he had 1 touchdown, longest reception was 55 yards. He had 150 yards in 2020. 2021, played against Clark Atlanta 3 times, Lane College, Florida A&M, Tuskegee. He had 1 touchdown. Reception yards was 105. Longest reception was 35 yards. So, no, I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, well, that's not a lot." But like you said, he comes out of small because he's literally coming out of a smaller HBCU. That's not getting a lot of games put in. So but still, the young man is a Florida guy. Baltimore loves Florida. That's our pipeline. Yep. He does, and I did. I was able to find something on the website. One game I did see him up there going to get the jump ball, so he does have the athleticism, to go get it. He was getting praise from Keith and T. So you obviously, if those gurus that's been, training wide receivers and getting them right and making them all pros, if they see something in them, hopefully we got the guys in office to bring the best out of this young man in order for him to, be on the team. Maybe even, ease his way up to the second man. I know everybody's talking about, we got Tylan Wallace, we got Devin Duvernay. I feel like Devin Duvernay has a more uphill battle for the simple fact that he has not been a wide receiver in his NFL career yet. Tylan Wallace, we know that he was an outside guy, but at the same time, he's a smaller guy, and we haven't really been hearing much about him in training camp so far. Maybe he shows up Thursday night. I'm looking forward to him. I'm not going to count him out. But I think right now, where McConnell and myself, where we're at, we want the bigger guy on the opposing side of Rashad Bateman, where that can take off some relief from Mark Andrews, Rashad, and just use that left side of the field. It's just take it over top. So, if a Shamar Bridges can do it, if a Jalen Moore, who actually has been with us for the past 2 seasons and actually has the up on some of these undrafted free agents that probably can move up to third or fourth wide receiver on the depth chart, by all means, let's get these guys on the field because with this wide receiver core, all hands on deck, and y'all need a fight like y'all life is dependent on it. So I'm looking forward to this battle, especially starting Thursday night.
Yeah, this is a battle between two teams that already don't like each other. But now you add in the fact that a lot of these guys are fighting not just for their current jobs, but their hopes and dreams maybe of being an NFL player. Like
Yeah.
it can get very emotional in preseason. It's something to watch. It's something to pay attention to. But is there any other guy? You brought up Tyler Beatty. Is there any other guy that you are really looking out for? Whether it's an O lineman or
I was just about to say we might as well go ahead and put them out there because Daniel Falahy. I've been hearing that they've actually been working out a left tackle. I don't agree with that, but hey, it's the Ravens. I would say this about the Ravens. They're going to get a guy and they're going to try to make him versatile, knowing dang well he's not versatile. And playing left tackle is harder, in my opinion, than playing right tackle. Someone that's been playing right tackle that's a longer body, and you're trying to make him transition over to the left side. I heard he's been having ups and downs. I heard they say he's going to be a project player, but I'm definitely looking forward to see how he fares on that left side, holding himself, and even if they get him on the right side too. I don't know if Jawan James is going to be available, but honestly, in my opinion, Jawan James hasn't played in almost 2 seasons. Correct me if I'm wrong. He needs to get all the reps that he can get, honestly.
yeah, I think Daniel Flaley will be really interesting to watch because he may not play this year, but
Yeah.
just being able to gauge where he's at, how long it will be before we can confidently play him is something. Because it could be something where it's like, hey, he's not going to be ready week 1 to play.
Right.
He's not going to be ready week 6, but you're like, he could be ready week 10, week 12. Or maybe it comes out, it's like, okay, he's not going to be able to play this year. He could maybe step in. He could be a swing tackle. He could come in and do things, but he can't start on the line this year.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want him out there. We're going to find that out this preseason, depending on how much he plays. We're going to see, okay, if he's playing against these lower competition, is he holding his own? Because if he goes out there and he's struggling against the third stringers, I'm sorry, in our division, I don't want you to struggle against third stringers, then go up against TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson. It's not going to go well. We saw that from Villanueva, because I'm pretty sure he would struggle against third stringers as well.
Most definitely. And he's a veteran.
Yeah, he's a vet.
He's made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, and the Pro Bowl. Yeah.